All right, Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm gonna just give you doing a quick news review over this last week because a lot of stuff happened last week. We're gonna do a little bit about impeachment, not much because it's really going nowhere, and I find it all incredibly boring. But there was a Democratic debate last week, which was probably the best one so far. A lot of stuff, like there's a few. I'm gonna point out a few stuff in there that I just found funny. Um, and I'll tell you who I thought won the debate. Um, then there's this inside the conservative movement. There's another movement, the Groyper movement. And if you're wondering what's a Groyper, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk in the guy who's basically the leader of it. He started Nick Fuentes. He's very controversial. Like a lot of people don't like him. I'm gonna just kind of give you my thoughts on him, and then Star Wars came out this last weekend, so I'm gonna talk about it. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Impeachment. Yeah, it's nothing's changed. Its whole thing is just stupid. We know how this movie ends, so I not have a whole lot to say about it. He's gonna get acquitted in the Senate if Nancy Pelosi ever sends it over there, but she hasn't, and I don't know what her play is by not sending it over there, because it makes zero sense. It's because they don't want it. Senate doesn't want to is going to vote no, but they don't care if they ever get it. And she says, until you do what I want you to, I'm not going to send it. That's like you kidnapped the redheaded stepchild. It's like, give me $5 million or I'll kill this mutant. It's like, go ahead, I don't care. You picked the wrong kid. You picked the redhead. It's like that. Who cares? I maybe like the only thing I can think of is like there's no time limit constitutionally of how long she can like doesn't say anywhere in the Constitution how long she has to get it over there. So she might be planning on, say, Donald Trump wins in 2020, which he probably is going to do at this point. And then in 2022, let's just say, for sake of argument, that Republicans lose the Senate and Democrats keep the House. Could she send it over there then and impeach Donald Trump in 2023? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Like, there's nothing in the Constitution that actually says she can't. But yeah, that's all very interesting. I don't like if that's her plan. It's like I think it's a risky move considering how unpopular impeachment is in swing states and in purple district. There's no guarantee they keep the House this November, but hey, it's a bold strategy, and let's see if it works out for them. Next, let's talk about the debate. All right, I'm just gonna say Amy Klobuchar probably won the debate. She had some good hits on Pete Buttigieg. You can go see highlights. Like nothing really important. She just criticized him for not having any experience, which he doesn't. Joe Biden was Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders was Bernie Sanders. But Elizabeth Warren just looked horrible. Horrible. First, the moderators asked her a simple question about how they said top economists claim that your tax plan will stifle the economy and hinder innovation, which is true. And she said, and then I said, how do you respond to that? And she just looks at him just like, well, they're wrong. She sounded like Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life. Clancy, they're just wrong. No follow up about why they're wrong. Just they're wrong. It's like, you know what? Like Thomas Sowell is wrong. Like Thomas Sowell is wrong. Milton Friedman was wrong. Murray Rothbard was wrong. Like you saying all of that, like I kind of believe them, but you know what, Liz? After you saying they're wrong, you know what? I was leaning towards them and believing what they were saying, but you know what? You got it. You're right. They're wrong. God, like, how was she ever a front runner? Like, she's falling apart, but oh yeah, no, it's so bad. And then she tried to attack Pete Buttigieg because he takes money from billionaires, right? Because that's how you win elections. But she says, you're in closed door meetings, closed door fundraisers with billionaires in wine caves. It's like, okay, yeah, no, like that sounds fucking awesome. Like, yeah, billionaire invites me to a wine cave. I'm going. It's like, I don't trust someone who will not go to a wine cave party. Like, that sounds awesome. What is wrong with you? It's like, there's one, like, a billionaire asks you to come to a party at a wine cave. There's only one acceptable answer to that. Well, fuck yeah, let's go. That's the only acceptable answer. Anything else, there's something fishy going on with you that I don't trust. And then Pete Buttigieg handled that attack, that line of attack pretty well. He basically said, like, because he pointed out that Elizabeth Warren has been in her her purity test makes 0 sense and she can't even live up to it. And she's saying, because she's running this campaign saying, I'm not taking any money from billionaires or super PACs, which is true, but Pete Buttigieg correctly pointed out that in her last Senate race, she took money from billionaires and super PACs, and the money she had, and then she's just transferred money from her Senate race over to her presidential race. So she's still spending money from billionaires. She's an incredibly dishonest person, and it shows, and she's losing steam fast. All right, next we're going to get into the Groyper movement. And some of you might be asking, what's a Groyper? Groyper is a movement inside the conservatism that is, I'm pretty sure it was started by Nick Fuentes, who I don't know if it started him, but he's the main face of it now. He's a young kid, about 21 years old, and he gets conservatives do not like him. A lot of mainstream conservatives, they call him a white supremacist, anti-Semitic. Ben Shapiro is one of the loudest critics of him. Ben Shapiro did a whole 45-minute speech on him at Stanford, and I don't, like, Ben Shapiro calls anybody who's ever said anything bad about Israel anti-Semitic, so I'm not really going to take his word for it. Like, Ben Shapiro's called Ron Paul anti-Semitic, and, like, I like Ben Shapiro, wearing a Ben Shapiro shirt, but, like, this is not, like, I don't listen to him on that very often, like, but, and so I'm just going to, I wasn't going to talk about the Groypers, but I've watched enough Nick Fuentes stuff on YouTube, like clips of him, and gotten some fights with some of his fans on Twitter enough where I feel like I've been able to gather an opinion of this kid. So I'm just going to talk about it. What Groypers are, they are people who are anti-immigration, anti-intervention, and want anti-free trade, and want the government to prop up and could keep money in jobs here in the United States. That is what they do. The reason, so that is their basic platform. That's what I've gathered, and I disagree with most of that. Like, besides anti-intervention and foreign, like, I disagree with them on everything. Immigration, we need more of it. We need it to be legal. But it needs to be easier for people to come in this country legally. Just make sure they're not a criminal and make sure they're going to work. And that's all that needs to happen. Yeah, free trade is the best thing for the economy. Not having free trade just hinders the economy. It makes consumers pay more. It just makes people doesn't raise wages like all the protectionists claim. And then people put tariffs on our stuff, which hurt businesses in the United States. It's bad economic policy. But and then the reason people say, and then I agree with them on foreign policy. We do not need to be giving money to we need to bring troops home. We do not need to be giving money to any foreign country at all. The reason people call Nick Fuentes anti-Semitic is because he just focuses, it seems like he's obsessed with Israel, which we give a lot of money to Israel that we shouldn't give. I understand that, but he does kind of focus like everything about, instead of just criticizing foreign aid in general, he focuses on Israel, which does kind of there's a lot of people who support Israel on the conservative that gets people upset. I don't like most of what he says. I agree with. Like, we should not be giving money to Israel whatsoever. So, I don't think he's a white supremacist. I don't think he's a white supremacist at all. I don't think he's anti-Semitic. He wants us to stop sending money to foreign countries, which I don't think his message is the best way of just focusing on this one country, and that opens up the gate for people to call you anti-Semitic. But he's not wrong on that one. But he is wrong on the other two. What about immigration and government involvement in the economy and free trade? He's 100% wrong on. But what I don't understand is, he's like all the conservatives who criticize him. From what I've gathered, he basically has the same stances as Tucker Carlson. And I think, like, I disagree with Tucker Carlson on everything except foreign policy. But, like, if you ask, Tucker Carlson's a socialist. He's not right-wing. Like, I don't understand why people say that. I don't think these guys are right-wing. They want government forcing down moral, like, Groypers also want government forcing down morals on people, too. Which, let's talk about morals. The government should be forcing you in that. But, like, the Groypers, Nick Fuentes, I think, is a socialist. Like, he wants government involved in the economy. He wants to stifle free trade. He want I don't see any difference between what his beliefs are and what Tucker Carlson's beliefs are. So, I don't understand why Tucker gets a pass and Nick doesn't, except for Nick criticizing, like, focusing on Israel. And Tucker, like I said, Tucker just does an overall, we shouldn't give money to people. We shouldn't give foreign money to anybody. And that seems like the only reason that's the only difference I see in them is that they both believe the same thing, but Nick seems to be obsessed with Israel. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the Groypers. They're wrong on most issues, but they're not white supremacists. They're not white supremacists. They're not anti-Semitic. They're just people who want government involved in trade, in the economy, and no immigration, and the end of foreign wars. That's all. So now to the exciting stuff is Star Wars came out this weekend, and it was not very good at all. It was horrible. It may have been better than The Last Jedi, but not if it was, not by much. I did a lot of eye rolling and said, "The fuck is this shit?" Like, can we just say, like, Disney ruined Star Wars? We thought George Lucas ruined Star Wars with the prequels. No, Disney ruined them with this new trilogy. And it basically makes, I'm not going to do any spoilers. I will do one about spoilers about how Disney ruined Star Wars. I'm going to do a video later just going into details. I'm not going to do it in this one, but it just basically makes everything else, like, the prequels at least had something to do with the original story. Like, you could see all the same story. This has nothing to do with anything. It's just there, boom, stuff, lightsabers, spaceships, boom, and yeah, so it was not good. And then seemed like they had no clear direction of where they're going to go from movie to movie because they had different directors for every one and different main writers. So it was like 3 separate movies that they tried. Like, I don't understand how Lucasfilm, which is owned by Disney, can be so scattered with these movies that they all barely seem to connect, while Marvel, which is also owned by Disney, can make a 23 movie connection that all seem to fit together pretty well. And I understand there's people have problems with Marvel. I have some problems with some of the Marvel movies. But they all connected so well no one doubted the story that they were telling to get to the end game, to get to the Infinity War. The Infinity Saga, like, everything connected so well. You understood it. It was like, you might have forgot, but like, there's no, it's like, what is going, you never were, if you saw them all, you're like, what is going on? Or that, who is this guy? Like, how would he get here? Sort of, like, you, and how Marvel could be, how Disney could let Marvel be so much bigger too, and tell a more coherent story than these three movies in Star Wars, and make absolutely zero sense. Doesn't make it, like, I don't understand it. I'm gonna talk more about Star Wars later, because I have literally nothing better to do with my life and time, and I like talking about Star Wars. So, and I have a lot of thoughts to get out. This is basically my Star Wars therapy. But yeah, so that's all I gotta say. Thank y'all for watching. Again, Merry Christmas. Y'all enjoy time with your family. Don't drink too much, or just don't drive. Let's not forget what Christmas is really about. It's the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So y'all just, while you're enjoying your family and having fun, just remember that. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.